Hi, this is State Representative J.T. Wilcox. I'm the House Republican Leader down here in Olympia, and we're finishing up the second week of this year's legislative session. This year we have 105 days, and that means that we're about 12% done. And one thing is becoming very apparent, and that is the fact that we are in person for the first time in 2 years is leading to, I think, more collegiality here and also more opportunity for the people of Washington and the minority, the Republicans, to engage with the majority. And one thing that I've learned in starting 13 years down here is it's the responsibility of the majority to pass bills. It's the responsibility of all of the rest of us to help them understand when they're making a mistake. And if they're wise, they will pay attention to that and produce better legislation. And because we are face to face right now, I think we have a better chance for better outcomes for the state of Washington. We're finding a few things that we have some pretty broad agreement on, and maybe the most important of those is addressing the shortage of housing that we have in Washington. And you see Republicans and Democrats coming together right now on bills that will make it easier to build more housing in the future. We've got decades of regulations that have made it hard to do that and produce the crisis that we're in. And finally, there's broad recognition that rolling some of those things back and providing some other incentives are an important thing. We're also seeing some things that we're not going to agree on. And the earliest ones that have come up have to do with various kinds of gun controls that have been proposed. Now, most people know that the Supreme Court has recently issued an opinion that is going to make most of these proposals unconstitutional. And I've been asked, why are Republicans so protective of gun rights? Why do you have to be so concerned with the Constitution when we also have a crisis in violence? And one of my answers, besides the fact that violence is produced by people, not really by instruments, is it is so critical to stand up for the Constitution and the rights of the citizens of Washington, because if you start ignoring one right that might be less important to you, it's much more likely that the rights that are the most critical to you are going to be ignored by others at some time. I think we all have a major stake in standing up for the rights that are enshrined in the U.S. and the Washington State Constitution. And we should not ignore the rights of anybody, even if those are the ones that we don't care about quite as much in the moment. One last thing for the 2nd District. Many people know that there has been a proposal to build a major international airport in the rural parts of Pierce or Thurston County. Now, this might be several decades away, but people are rightly very concerned about this, and they're asking questions like, why, after I have heard about so many restrictions on the ability to use my own land, would they ignore all of those environmental concerns in order to build a great big airport? I'm doubtful that it's going to happen. I and every elected official in Pierce County that I know of have expressed opposition to this, and I think there's a few outcomes that are likely this year in the legislature. I think the least likely one is that a decision will be made to go forward. I think Pierce County's opposition is going to be very effective in this. Another possibility is that there will be no action taken, and that is better. It's not the best case scenario, which would be to restart the whole process. We have a House Republican bill that is going to have Democratic support to do just that and set up a process that will take a few more years and will allow more people to have input, and also to be sure that it's done under conditions where people can get boots on the ground and really understand the situation in the rural parts of our state. And all the damage that can be done. I'm hopeful that can happen. I'm fairly sure that we're not going to have a decision to go ahead. Thanks, everybody, and I'll see you next week.